Let me start with something that might offend you, because it's true. Most people will end 2025 exactly how they started it, busy but unchanged. They will have full days, tired eyes, and empty progress. They will call it life, but it's really repetition. And if you're thinking, that's not me, good. But don't prove it with emotions. Prove it with actions, because motivation is cheap and results are expensive. In 2026, don't be most people, not because you're better than them, but because you're tired of betraying yourself. The brutal question. Let me ask you a question that makes the room go quiet. If I followed you around for 1 week, your routine, your habits, your conversations, your scroll time, your excuses, would I be able to cure entire 2026? Would your next year look like a new chapter or the same page copied 365 times? Because here is the uncomfortable truth. A new year does not change your life. Your standards do. And your standards are not what you talk about. Your standards are what you tolerate. You don't get what you want. You get what you repeatedly do. Why 2025 didn't change you. Real goals, not lazy goals, not I'll try goals. But you had a problem. You were waiting for the feeling. You were waiting for confidence. Waiting for the right time. Waiting for the day you finally felt motivated. And while you waited, time kept moving without you. You planned. You saved posts, you watched videos, you wrote notes. You learned about discipline instead of building it. Let me say it clearly. Planning is not progress, it's preparation. Preparation matters, but preparation becomes a trap when it replaces action. If you keep preparing, you will become professionally ready and personally stuck. 2026 is not a feeling, it's a decision. In 2026, your breakthrough will not come from a perfect plan. It will come from a non-negotiable standard. The difference between the people who change and the people who stay the same is not talent. It's not luck. It's not even time. It's this. Some people use their time to protect their comfort. Other people use their time to build their future. 2026 is the year you stop negotiating with your goals. No more. I'll start Monday. I'm not ready yet. I'm waiting for the right moment, because the right moment is not coming. You have to create it, the mirror moment. Listen, nobody is coming. No one is going to rescue your health. No one is going to rescue your career. No one is going to rescue your confidence. And that's not sad. That's power. Because if nobody is coming, that means the responsibility is yours, and so is the victory. THE 2026, here are my 5 standards that change everything. I'm going to give you 5 standards, 5 decisions that will separate your 2026 from your 2025. Not motivational quotes, not pretty ideas, standards. Because standards create behavior. Behavior creates identity. Identity creates destiny. Keep one promise to yourself daily. In 2025, many people broke promises to themselves and didn't even notice. They said they would wake up early, didn't. They said they would study, didn't. They said they would work out, didn't. And every broken promise did something dangerous. It trained your brain not to trust you. So in 2026, you rebuild self-trust the same way it was destroyed, one decision at a time. Start small. Start daily, one promise, every day. Not a heroic promise, a realistic one. Today I will walk for 20 minutes, Tao. Today I will write 300 words. Today I will practice for 30 minutes. Today I will finish the one task I keep avoiding. You don't need more motivation. You need evidence. And self-trust is evidence. Build a high value skill like your life depends on it. Let me tell you what 2026 rewards: skills, not vibes, not wishes, not potential. If you want a different income, a different lifestyle, a different identity, you need a skill that can't be ignored. Communication, sales, editing, design, decoding, AI workflows, business analysis, public speaking, writing, marketing, data. Pick one, and then stop treating practice like a hobby. Here's the formula: 30 minutes, 3 times a week minimum. 1 hour if you're serious. 2 hours if you're hungry. Not I learned something. Instead, I shipped something. A page, a project, a portfolio piece, a recorded practice. In 2026, the world will not pay you for what you intend to do. It will pay you for what you can do consistently. Fix your energy before you fix your life. Many people don't have a motivation problem. They have an energy problem. You can't build a new life on 4 hours of sleep, junk food, and constant stress. Your body becomes your ceiling. In 2026, you treat energy like a strategy. Sleep, protect it. Water, drink it. Movement, do it daily. Not because you want abs, because you want power. Because discipline is harder when you are exhausted. Focus is harder when you are dehydrated. Confidence is harder when your body feels weak. Your future needs a strong mind, but your mind lives inside a body. Protect your focus like it's your future, because it is. Let me say something that will explain a lot of your frustration. You're not lazy. You're distracted. Your attention is being sold every day. And every time you give it away, you lose the ability to do deep work. In 2026, you stop living in notifications. You set boundaries. You say no. You turn off what steals your time, because every yes to distraction is a no to your future. Make focus a ritual. 1 deep word block daily. Phone out of reach. 1 priority only. Finish before you consume. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. Show up when nobody claps. This is the line that separates the dreamers from the builders. In 2026, you show up even when nobody is watching. Because the early phase of every great thing looks lonely. It looks like nobody cares. It looks like slow progress and silent effort. And that's why most people quit. They want applause before they have proof. But results don't need applause. They need repetition. The people you admire didn't become impressive in public. They became disciplined in private. The identity shift. Now listen closely. If you want 2026 to be different, you have to stop thinking like someone who is trying. Trying is what people do when they want an excuse. In 2026, you don't try. You train. You train your discipline. You train your focus. You train your standards. Because your identity is not what you say. It's what you do on your worst day. Or how you actually change. Let me simplify your entire 2026. Stop thinking in 12 months. Think in 90 days. 90 days is long enough to transform, short enough to stay urgent. So here's your 90-day plan. Pick 1 skill. Pick 1 health habit. Pick 1 focus rule. Track 1 daily promise. That's it. Not 25 goals. Not a perfect routine. 1 direction. 1 standard. 1 repeatable system. Complexity fears simplicity gets results. TXAUS what must stay in 2026? If 2026 is going to be different, some habits must die. The habit of negotiating with your alarm. The habit of Just 5 more minutes. The habit of scrolling when you feel uncomfortable. The habit of quitting when it gets boring. Because boredom is not your enemy, it's your training ground. You don't need life to be easier. You need yourself to be stronger. The cost of staying the same. Let's talk about cost. Not the cost of working hard, the cost of staying the same. The cost is another year of almost. Another year of watching other people win. Another year of knowing you could have done more. Another year of your potential turning into regret. And regret is a special kind of pain because it's self-created. So if discipline feels hard, good. That's the price of freedom. Because the truth is, either you pay now with effort, THE, stark, easy, PRINCIPLE. Some of you are stuck because you want to start perfectly. Perfect schedule, perfect year, perfect confidence. But perfection is just fear in a clean outfit. In 2026, you start messy. Messy workouts, messy drafts, messy first attempts. Because the first version of anything is supposed to be rough. That's how growth looks. You can't improve what you refuse to begin. The 7-day proof challenge. I'm going to challenge you right now to prove you're serious. For 7 days, do this. 1 promise daily. 1 deep work block daily. 1 skill practice session, and track it. Not for Instagram, for your integrity. At the end of 7 days, you'll feel something rare. Self-respect. And that feeling is worth more than motivation, because it doesn't fade when life gets hard. The new definition of confidence. Confidence is not something you're born with. Confidence is not something you wait for. Confidence is the byproduct of keeping promises to yourself. That's it. So if you want confidence in 2026, stop chasing it like a feeling and start building it like a result. Become undeniable. Let me bring this home. In 2026, you will not become undeniable by doing something huge once. You will become undeniable by doing something small, every day without excuses. Because consistency is a personality trait. It's an identity, and identity is destiny. So here's your line in the sand. In 2026, you are done being busy and unchanged. You are done negotiating with your future. You are done living like you have infinite time. You will build discipline. You will build skill. You will build energy. You will build focus. You will build self-trust. And you will do it quietly at first until your results speak so loudly you don't have to. Start today. 1 decision. 1 action. That's how 2026 becomes yours. $10 word expansion pack. Below are extra fully written sections. Can insert where indicated to extend the speech to 10 Salzamon's words while keeping the same tone and flow. Each module includes a suggested insertion point. 2 future story. Picture 2 versions of you walking into December 2026. Version 1 walks in exhausted. Not from effort, just from life. They were busy all year. They did errands, they handled problems, they survived. They were always about to start, always getting ready. They learned a lot, yet built little. And when someone asks, "So what changed this year?" they smile and say, "I'm still figuring it out." Version 2 walks in different, not perfect. Different, not because life was easier, but because they became stronger. They kept promises. They practiced skills. They protected focus. They didn't win every day, but they showed up every day. And when someone asks, "So what changed this year?" they don't need a speech. Their eyes answer. Their posture answers. Their results answer. Now, here's the important part. Those two futures are separated by tiny choices, daily choices that you're already making. So the question isn't, can you change? The question is, which version are you feeding today? The comfort trap. Comfort is not evil. Comfort is human. The problem is when comfort becomes your boss. Because comfort doesn't just relax you. It trains you to avoid discomfort. And discomfort is where growth lives. Every meaningful thing requires discomfort. Learning requires confusion. Strength requires strain. Success requires rejection. Confidence requires risk. But comfort whispers, not today. And not today sounds harmless until it becomes your identity. One day becomes a week becomes a month becomes a year, and you wake up shocked, not because time moved fast, but because you didn't move with it. In 2026, comfort stops being your decision maker. You can rest, yes, but you no longer hide. Because rest is recovery, hiding is surrender. In 2026, you don't need a more comfortable life. You need a more courageous self. Discipline vs. mood. Let's be honest, motivation is unreliable. It comes when life is easy and disappears when life gets real. So if your plan depends on motivation, your results depend on luck. Discipline is different. Discipline is not hype. Discipline is not intensity, is a decision you repeat even when your mood votes. In 2026, your mood is allowed to complain, but it is not allowed to decide. You can feel tired and still show up. You can feel fear and still act. You can feel unmotivated and still complete one small promise. That's adulthood. That's leadership. That's how you stop being a spectator in your own life. If you only work when you feel good, you will only live halfway. How to pick a high-value skill. If you're unsure what skill to choose, use this rule. Pick the skill that increases your options. A high-value skill usually does one of three things. It increases your ability to create. It increases your ability to communicate. It increases your ability to analyze. Ask yourself, what is one skill that if I became good at it, would make me harder to ignore? Then simplify the practice. Remove the drama. Remove the perfection. Make it routine. Because talent isn't rare. Consistency is rare. And rare things are valuable. Focus is a superpower now. In 2026, focus is not just helpful, it's a competitive advantage. Because the average person lives in fragments. 10 seconds here, 1 minute there, always interrupted, always reacting. And when you live like that, you don't build anything deep. You don't master skills, you don't create quality, you don't finish. So focus becomes a superpower. And the best part, you don't have to be smarter than everyone. You just have to be less distracted. That's available to you today. Turn off the noise, choose one target, finish the task. In 2026, your future belongs to whoever can concentrate. The boring middle. Everybody loves the beginning. New notebook. New routine. Gee, everybody loves the finish. The before and after. The celebration. The results. But most people quit in the middle. The boring middle where progress is slow and nobody notices. That middle is where champions are built. In 2026, you stop expecting excitement. You start expecting repetition. Because repetition is not punishment. It's the process. And once you accept the boring middle, you become dangerous. Because now you can outlast the people who need constant motivation. In 2026, you don't need it to feel exciting. Failure reframe. Let's remove fear of failure right now. Failure is not the opposite of success. Quitting is. Failure is feedback. Failure is data. Failure is the tuition you pay for skill. In 2026, you fail faster, but you fail forward. You adjust. You repeat. Because the person who wins isn't the person who never falls. It's the person who refuses to stay down. The closing amplifier. You are closer than you think, not because it will be easy, but because you don't need a miracle. You need a standard. One promise. One skill, one deep work block, one boundary, 1 week of proof. That's how a new identity is born. And when you change your identity, everything changes. Your choices, your circle, your confidence, your outcomes. So don't wait for January to become your turning point. Make today the turning point. Because 2026 is not a calendar event, it's a personal decision.